Hi, deep searchers. Welcome to Set the Scriptures podcast with Apostle Joseph Mintah. As you can see, we are not in the studio. We are outside in a very beautiful place. So we stepped out to ask a few people questions about church money. That's what we are treating. So we want to know some of the controversies surrounding church money, the ideologies people have concerning tithe, offering, seed sowing, and whatnot. So please join me as I ask a few people what they think about church money. We are from Search the Scriptures podcast with Apostle Joseph Mintah, and currently we are treating church money. We are here to find out controversies surrounding church money. When I say church money, I mean tithing, offering, seed sowing, VIP ticketing, and all that. So, what do you know about church money? Any controversies you've heard about church money?
The first I've heard is that the church money being squandered by the church leaders.
I've been hearing that.
Yeah, and the church heads. But I believe that's not so. Because coming from a pastoral homes.
Oh, your father's a pastor?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Some of my friends like teasing me that the money is being used by my father to pay my fees and stuff, but that's not so. And the second one I'd like to add is that there's this controversy that the church money shouldn't be used by people outside the church, but should return to the people inside the church because they are making the payments and offerings and all.
I'm not sure I understand that.
If I'm supposed to emphasize on what I just said, I mean that let's say we are a group, right? And a person is suffering inside the church, but we don't help someone who is inside the church, but go and distribute the money to orphans and orphanages outside the church.
Money should be used inside and not outside.
Me, I don't believe so. But for what people are saying, yeah, that's what they are saying.
Any more controversies you'd like to share?
The last one I'd like to add is that I've heard this controversy going around that they don't know why church money should be invested in church buildings and stuff. Whilst
So we should church outside.
for me, I don't believe so. So yeah, they feel like since they are making payments, they should return back to them in case they are in need or in case anything is happening to them.
That's a lot of entitlement. What are some of the controversies surrounding church money that you are privy to?
Church pastors actually live lavishly at the expense of their members.
Wow.
Then also, for example, church leaders raise certain funds for a certain purpose. So, critical instance is that maybe you've raised money for a church building, and at the end of the day, we don't see even the foundation, even of the church.
Where did the money go?
That is it. So, here is the question. Is there accountability in the church regarding church money?
Wow.
So the second controversy is that some Christians or people perceive that, church leaders or pastors live lavishly at the expense of the impoverished members of the church.
Can't they also enjoy their lives?
They can, but are the church pastors the responsibility of the church?
Wow.
So what I know about the church money and some controversies is that, you see, for pastors, especially when it comes to the August part of the prayer and fasting, we all know that season is for prayers and fasting. And then at the end, they tend to take seeds.
Seed sowing.
Seed sowing, yes. And then with the seed sowing, the way they do it, I actually have a roommate. I told him, I went to church one day, and then I told him that today the pastor took seeds and all that. He was like, he doesn't understand why.
Wow.
He doesn't understand why. Because his church, one day, they were actually like, we have a TV we want to buy. We have a TV we want to buy. And they started mentioning prices. 150. 150 is going, 150. So like, in a church.
I know, right?
In a church. So he was actually really sad and disappointed about that thing. So I want to say that with the seed sowing, the the prices, it's like they say the prices, it's seed sowing you have to give, but they actually tell you how much you have to give. And there was another time of a boat driver. I was going to church, and then this boat driver was taking me. We were talking about church, like nice. He was saying how he used to be a wonderful Christian. Yes, his fellowship with God was really powerful. But as we were talking. So we reached a junction, we had to branch, getting close to the church. And then he saw a billboard of a certain church. So that billboard, it was 70 days prayer and fasting. 70 days. And I was like, I used to cry saying. So Then all of a sudden, the
Coach driver.
yeah, he started changing the topic of how Christianity has mafiaed him.
Wow.
We were just talking about how nice it was. Like, so he was saying that one day, the last time that he went to church, it was a seed sowing, and then the pastor he did something that made him really mad.
Yeah.
He took like everybody compulsory.
Wow.
Compulsory is by force. You take a seed, you give the envelope to you, put it in your hand, give us something.
Yeah.
Give us something. And then he said not less than, is it 100 cedis or so?
Interesting.
That's the boat drivers.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow. Wow.
This means we need a lot of clarity on seed sowing,
Yes.
right? Any other controversies you know of?
When I came to first year, I was with my friend. And then that's in my room. First day, a certain church came to me. I'll not mention their name. It's a fellowship on campus.
Yeah.
So they they gave me a certain, that taking this thing that day. Yes, and the prices are on it.
Okay. Wow.
Yesterday, Sam came to my room. So they gave that, hi, we are from this church, and then we want to get funds for a building project. So we would like you to give us something, anything from your heart. The thing is, even after that, you even pray for us that God bless you for giving or anything. Thank you, and they went just like that. I was okay because I know giving is a quality of a believer. Okay, so that's the first time.
So that was in first year.
That was in first year. Now that first year, the following day, I went out, and then they were talking to my friend, and then my friend called me. He said, "Hello." I said, "Boy, many new friend do a hoe." There's a one in Casa. Yeah, we are from that same church now. Okay. He said, "Can you give?" Okay, I give again. Now, this year, they
So you're in second year.
I'm in second year. So this year they came again, and then they were like, "We are from this church." I was like, "Hey, now so 365 days. Like, how much did you accumulate in your budget?" And then
the building hasn't been.
it hasn't. I actually interrogated them on the progression of the building, and then they couldn't give me any evidence. Nothing. I was like,
It's quite unfortunate because if everybody does this, we won't even be able to identify the true ones and then be able to give. That's what we do here on Search the Scriptures podcast.
Okay, so mine is like a personal experience.
Okay.
I'm a child of a pastor. So
Beautiful.
yeah, it's something I've experienced personally. So sometimes I'll go to daddy, daddy, I need this, I need that. He will tell me point blank, I don't have money.
Oh.
And I'll be like, okay, he doesn't have money because I know my daddy, if he has, he'll give it to me. The moment I turn, another church member will come, probably request for something which is more expensive than the one I asked for. And he will just give the money to the person. I will just, isn't the same man who said yeah. But outside this thing that is like,
The other way around.
yes, we squander the church money, we do this. If he's to buy a new car right now, everybody will say it's with the church money.
Yeah.
It could be a friend who even gave him the car. They won't ask for an explanation or anything. They will just suggest he used church money. It doesn't really work like that. Maybe unless the person is not a real man of God, because man of God, like, they give a lot. They give out a lot. Mostly, sometimes more than they give to their families.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Any other controversy?
Yeah, and the fact that they think that we should stop taking off a trees and other.
People actually think we shouldn't take off a tree in the church.
Yeah, people actually think that way.
Wow.
Because, like, let me ask, this mic, you bought it, right? It need energy to power up. We need to pay water bills. We have people working at the church. How do we pay them? It's so, like, when I hear this, I just don't know how to answer them. Like, if you don't pay off a tree, how are you supposed to like pay them? It's not like the church is selling something that is supposed to help us pay. So it's just the people that have to help.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like we are all doing the work of God. The way you can help is by partnership, and how? With your money. Yeah, so it all brings blessings from God. So
Wow.
Like-
Thank you so much. I've enjoyed this conversation, and be sure that we'll settle this on Search the Scriptures podcast with Apostle Joseph Mintah. Thank you. God
Thank
bless
you
you.
too.
Right.
bye.
Bye. Hi, deep searchers. Welcome to another episode of Search the Scriptures podcast with Apostle Joseph Mintah. This episode is a special one because we came to you on the street. Of course, we came to ask you questions concerning church money, controversies, ideologies, perceptions, and we're so glad you received us. We gleaned a lot from your knowledge, and we are here to settle all the controversies. So today, I have with me Apostle Joseph Mintah. Of course, he's going to settle all these controversies scripturally. But before he takes the mic, before he goes on, I would want to share with you some salient or the main points we gathered from our street talk with you. First, accountability. So we are still talking about church money, don't forget. Accountability, lavish living, investment, donations, responsibility, amount quotation, credibility, irony, church expenses, and finally, what church money is supposed to be used for. So, Apostle Joseph Mintah, please, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us today. So, we hit the streets recently just to find out what people think about church money. We had a lot of people say a lot of things. So I would want to take them one after the other so that you'd help us settle the controversy.
Okay.
So, on accountability, the first question is, what is the place of accountability in the church? Because there are instances where pastors raise funds, say to build to put up a church building, to do something, and then eventually we get to hear nothing about where the money went. So what is the place of accountability in the church? Are church members supposed to know what is going on with church money, or it's privy to just the leaders of the church? What is the place of accountability financially?
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Accountability is very important in every organized society. Every community is important, especially when you are presiding over um, resources that people have contributed. Now, when it comes to the church, I've already established the fact that we look at the church from two different angles: the church as an organism and the church as an organization. And when it comes to the church as an organism, leaders of the church are accountable to the one who called them. The God who called you, He's the one you are accountable to. Because at the end of the day, you're going to stand before Him and He's going to judge your works. And He's either going to tell you, well done, good and faithful servant, or you wicked and lazy servant. But when it comes to the church and organization, where we are looking at it from strictly an organizational uh, point of view. People who have contributed money, and then you are presiding over the money, and so they have a right to know what it's being used for. And in the Bible, when you read the Bible, you realize that when the Jews, the believers in Jerusalem, when they wanted to send aid to the believers, the Gentiles wanted to send aid to those in Jerusalem because there was famine, and they gathered the money together and gave it to Apostle Paul. The Apostle Paul didn't go alone to present the gift.
Yes, sir.
He had to go with somebody else. When you read 2 Corinthians chapter 8 from verse 18 to 21, he said that they chose one brother who was well reported of by the other brethren to accompany Paul so that nobody can blame them in that lavish gift. And so Paul put measures in place to ensure that there was transparency.
Okay.
And so accountability is not a foreign word. It should not be a foreign word in the church.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So measures should be put in place to ensure accountability. Thank you so much, sir. So let's move on to the second one, lavish living. So most people are of the view that most pastors live lavishly. So the question is, should it be that because they are pastors, they can't really enjoy their lives? What is the balance? Because what if they are not using the church money? So how is this supposed to be? Should it be that because they are pastors, they shouldn't live lavishly? Or those also living lavishly, are they using the church money? And is it okay that they use it because they are pastors and that's where they are paid?
When we say lavish, lavish living is relative and it's quite subjective because what may appear to somebody as lavish living may be very conservative to another person.
Wow.
I mean, if let's say I have 10 cars, and I could have gotten 20 cars, and I chose to keep 5. Now you who don't have a car, you may think that I'm living lavishly. You don't know what I've had to forgo to maintain the 5, and what purpose is the 5 serving. Maybe because of the people I deal with, the people I come in contact with, maybe 5 cars may not even be enough. you know. But then let me come to the question. Um, the first point is, where is the money coming from? You see, if let's say somebody gets money and the person is using the money as he sees fit, why should that be a problem? If a footballer gets his money and he's using the money to buy expensive things, it's nobody's business. If a politician gets his money and use the money to buy expensive things, it's nobody's business. If the pastor gets his money and he got it through uh, good means, he did not cheat, he did not steal, and the money is his. What business has somebody, you know, on how the pastor uses the money? But then the balance is that people will raise questions because of what scriptures say, and then how a leader should uh, present himself, and how a leader should be a model. I mean, when you flaunt wealth, when you flaunt wealth and you are bragging about wealth, and you are just displaying wealth and all that, I mean that is wrong. No matter how you got the money, I mean whether the money you got it through the right means or what, that is wrong. That's not a good picture of a man of God. We don't flaunt wealth. We don't worship money. We don't worship wealth. We use wealth to advance the cause of the kingdom. We use the money to help people, to improve upon society, people in the church and outside the church and all that. But usually you will see that some few people can just maybe get onto the social media, flaunt wealth, and then display affluence and all that. That is more of an exception than the norm, than the rule, because majority of the men of God do not do that. Yeah, but some few ones do that, and it's not right. Not because they don't have a right to do that. But it's not right ethically. Yeah, ethically. Then also the last thing is that now when you see somebody maybe ostensibly living big, living large, you don't know the amount that you see people give away 90% of their resources, and still the 10% is enough to get them a private jet.
Yes, please.
What about that? So are you judging right when if you say that because the person is a private jet, he's just living affluent life? It's like an opulent lifestyle, displaying affluence and wealth and all that. And to you, you may think that the person is being profligate. But the thing is, do you know the amount of money the person gives away? And some people can even give away, let's say, 50% of their resources, and the other 50 may be enough to keep them going comfortably, flying in private jets and all that. So the issue is not what a man of God is spending. We don't know what he's giving away. Yeah, and where the money is coming from, whether it's coming from the church, if the church decides to pay the pastor 100,000 Ghana cedis or dollars a month, whatever you use the money for, is nobody's business.
Yes, sir.
If the money is not coming from the church directly, it's coming from people who support his ministry and who love him and who sow the money into his life personally. How he uses the money shouldn't be as the subject of any scrutiny. Yeah, just that, like I've said, the man of God should be a model. You must know how to present yourself. Yes, so that because you are done the gospel you preach.
Wow.
Now, if you don't present yourself well, you may be working against the very gospel you are preaching. Yes.
So, Apostle, is it right if I say that there should be a compromise? Would that be the right way to put it? That there should be a compromise at a point, so that though you can do beyond what you are doing now, but you can just take a place of compromise and then tone down.
Yes, see, the thing is that it's absolutely unnecessary for you to flaunt wealth, even if you're not a man of God, even if you're a believer, not even a pastor. Why should you be displaying your riches? It's kind of attention seeking, and I think it's not the best for a person who is a leader to be doing that. And so people who do that, they are really displaying immaturity.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's a lot of balance. So the third thing is investments. Should we invest in church buildings? Should we use, because from the video, the guy was asking if it's okay. He is the son of a pastor, and according to him, the church members think they shouldn't waste money building churches because they don't even know when the church is going to collapse. So we should invest it in them rather instead of building up. I mean, putting up structures rather. So please, what is the place of church investment? Should we invest in buildings? And of course, there are churches who build schools as well, maybe universities and all that. Is it necessary?
Well, the church in the New Testament is not a building. Bible says God has not dwelt in temples made with hands. And so, right from the word go, the church building is to be seen as a tool, not a status symbol. It's a tool. It's a place where believers can go, can gather, can pray together, can be fed with the word of God. And that's just the use. It's just that's the purpose of the church building. And so when he says investing, maybe what he's trying to say is, should we focus on the building at the expense of the members? But the thing is that if the members are meeting under a tree or in a place that is not convenient, how is fellowship going to be possible? If you don't get a roof over your head, you don't get a nice place that you can be comfortable to listen to the word of God, it's even going to affect how you concentrate on what is going on. And so the church building is very important. All the church building, the modern facilities, gadgets, everything, they are very, very important. Yeah, but the real church is the people. And so it's not like we should by all means get a church building, but then we should get our priorities right. Yeah, and then know that the people, they are the church.
Yes, please.
And so the investment in the people is a spiritual investment. Is the investment of the word. Not that we should the money that we're going to use to build a church, we should give to people for them to spend. Not that. The investment is the word. Because it's a church, it's a spiritual thing. The building is a scaffold. The building itself is a scaffold. When it comes to spiritual things, the main beauty of the church, the church, the main church is the people, and the main investment is of the word. The church building, all the other things, they are just helping us to have a nice place to meet and all that. So it's not bad. It's never a wrong thing. And I believe we must have very beautiful church buildings, very nice church buildings that will serve as landmarks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, landmarks. I believe that it's all right. There's nothing wrong.
Yes.
But the balance is that we should know that the real church is not a building, it's the members.
People. Yes, please. So when it comes to churches building schools, because I know of churches who have schools as well.
Yeah.
What is the balance? Are we
Yeah.
supposed to be doing that? And are the church members supposed to be privileged in a certain way because it's their money? We are talking about offertory, tithe, seed sowing. It's coming from them. So does it mean they should be given some privileges?
Well, in the first place, not every church is mandated to start a school or something. I don't know, but some people, some churches believe that it's part of their mandate to start schools as a church, and some also empower their members to start schools. Of course, education or schools is one of the most effective way of discipleship. And so if a church decides to go into education, all the better. Most of our high performing institutions in Ghana here are mission schools started by churches and missionaries. So if a church decides to go into education, it's bad and it's good.
Yes, sir.
It's not bad at all. It's good. And then also it depends on why the school was started in the first place. Now, if it was to afford their members access to affordable and quality education, then the reason should hold, and that will mean that the members must have access to the institution, maybe at a discounted fee or something. Yeah, but then you must understand that there's nothing like free anywhere. It is only free because somebody is paying for it.
Yes, please.
And so I know churches that have schools that give scholarships to members. And sometimes they give them half scholarships, sometimes they give them partial scholarship or full scholarship, to the members, and that's a form of incentive that maybe your contribution you contributed.
Yes,
There are some people who even came when the school had been built, but they still benefit
yes, sir.
in terms of the scholarships and all that. So that is fair. That is good. Yeah, but it does not. When we say that, because it's a church project, we should come for free. We must know that education is expensive. The school will have to the school has to be run, effectively.
Yes, please.
They will pay teachers. They will have to do many things and all that, and they will use the school fees to do all those things.
Yes, please.
So the benefit that you, the church member, that accrues to the church member, may be scholarship.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So that's all right.
That's well explained. Thank you so much, sir. So let's move to donations now. Some people are of the view that the money raised in the church should be kept in the church. So that we know of people who go out to orphanages, prisons, different places to help the less privileged when there are people in the church who actually need help. So some people think it's not necessary to go out there to give the money to such people. The money should be given to those of us inside the church. Please, what's the balance here?
Okay. So when you read Galatians chapter 6, verse 10, um, verse 10, it says that, therefore, as we have opportunity, let us do good to all, especially to those who are of the household of faith. Now, it says that the priority should be those who are of the household of faith. Okay, so now orphanages and other institutions, they are institutions. The Bible did not say we should go to orphanages. I said we should help orphans. We should help the needy. So wherever the needy are, we can go and help. But the Bible is saying, especially those for the household of faith. And so, when you read Second Timothy chapter 1, verse Second Timothy chapter 1. Oh, well, let me. Okay, yeah. Chapter, so Second Timothy chapter 2,
Chapter 2.
verse 6.
Should I read it for you?
He said, a hardworking farmer must be first to partake of the crops. And so this principle is like you have to satisfy Jerusalem before you move to Judea into Samaria. So if the church decides to attend to the needy, the poor and the needy, that the very first place it should look at is the needy among themselves in that household of faith. Yeah, so he's right if he says that he doesn't see why people have needs and they will take you to the offer. There are orphans also in the church,
Yes, please.
and so they also qualify to receive help.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's nothing wrong, but then the priority, we should at least the benefit of first refusal should be given to
Please come again. The benefit of.
first refusal
Okay.
should be given to the members
Yes,
of the church.
Thank you. So this is still Search the Scriptures podcast with Apostle Joseph Mintah. We are settling the controversies we accrued from the street show. So let's continue. Apostle, are pastors the responsibility of the church?
Okay. When you say the responsibility, the system God put in place in the Bible is that in 1 Corinthians 9:11, the Apostle Paul stated a principle, and then he said that 1 Corinthians 9:11, it says, if we have sown spiritual things for you, is it a great thing if we reap your material things? Then when you look at Galatians 6, it says, let him who teaches and the one who is taught share to all good things together. Literally, I was talking about the one who is being taught should also share materially, with the one who is teaching.
Yes, please.
And so, in that sense, the system God has put in place is that those who preach the gospel should live of the gospel. And so, yes, it is correct to say that the it is the church's responsibility to take care of the pastor or the pastors. Yeah, simply because the Bible states as a principle. And number two, when the church becomes big and then the pastor will have to leave everything to attend to the church. So as you have to buy his time so that he can be released from the pressure of having to go to work from 8 to 4.
Yes, sir.
So that anytime at all you come, there will be meeting in the Lord's house in a form of counsel,
Yes.
prayers, revelation, teaching, and all that.
Yes.
So Peter said that we will not leave tables, we will just focus on preaching the word and prayer. And that is a very, very heavy responsibility on the man of God. So as the church grows, and if the church can afford, then the pastor should be the church's responsibility. Yes.
Right. Thank you, sir. So the next thing is, who determines how much is sown or given? So this question is from the street shoot. And the person was wondering why, when it's time for seed sowing, sometimes pastors quote a particular amount for the members to sow. So who determines how much is sown during seed sowing in churches?
Okay, so the word is seed sowing. Why do we call it a seed? We call money a seed because of what Apostle Paul said in 2 Corinthians chapter 9, from verse 6 coming. He was talking about the aid they were sending to the disciples in Jerusalem. And then he said that he who sows sparingly will reap sparingly. He who sows bountifully will reap bountifully. So he compared money to a seed. Of course, we know, even in business terms, we have seed capital as something that you are using to start, a business or something like that. So you sow it, and then you get returns, you reap fruit. Now, when it comes to giving in the church or in the kingdom, from beginning of the Bible to the end, there are two words that, let me say, two words that stand out. The first one is willingness, and the second one is ability. If you when you read Exodus 35, Exodus 28, when they were building the tabernacle, God will say, "Tell them, any one of them who is of a willing heart, let him give." And then Ezra 2:69, it said they all gave each according to his ability. 2 Corinthians chapter 8, Paul said the people of Macedonia, they gave according to their ability, and even yes, beyond their ability, because out of their deep poverty, they gave over and above. And so they first gave themselves to us, and they gave also to the brethren. And so these two words, these are the catch to the end. Two words are they feature prominently. The first one is willingness. Second is ability. And so in the Bible, God will tell Moses, tell any one of them who is of a willing heart to give this and give that. So the first thing is the person must be willing. And then when they were building the tabernacle in the Old Testament, that was what God said. Anyone whose heart had been touched, they got to a point they brought too much offering to the side that Moses had to stop them. Their hearts were touched. Then the second word is ability, according to ability. And first, 2 Corinthians 8 verse 12, it says that for if there is first a willing mind, it is accepted according to what one has, and not according to what he does not have. And so um, the practice where people are forced to give what they don't have is not scriptural. Giving should be of a willing heart and according to ability. So if you name an amount and you say, give this amount, I mean, it's not strictly scriptural. Maybe you may understand why they will name an amount. Maybe you will say that, oh, but they are not forcing you to give that amount. If you don't have, there's no problem. But once it is linked to some sort of blessing and then some sort of reward that you get from God, and then you name the amount, it's like you're putting subtle pressure on the person. But sometimes you can name the need, or maybe the amount that is needed. Okay, we need $10,000 to finish this project. So any amount that you can give, that your heart you are willing to give and able to give. And when we get the money and it's not up to the $10,000, we'll come again and say, okay, we got 5,000, but we still left with 5,000. So any amount that you you can give. That is better than saying that bring 1,000 cities. Some people even go to the side of saying you bring 5,000
Yes.
because I know the kind of work you do, and I know you are capable of giving. It's all not right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it should be willingness and ability. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Willingness and ability when it comes to seed sowing. So the next thing is from what the young man said. I think it talks about credibility. He was in first year. A church came to him soliciting for funds. He gave them. He's in second year now, and then they came again, or they come again for the same amount of. I mean, for the same purpose. They need money for a church building. He asked about the progression, and there's nothing to show for it. So I told him it will make it look like that's what everybody is doing. So if a church comes and they're really genuine, he might not even give again. I think that's the case for so many people. So what do we do so that the church can maintain its credibility? Can't we go to people for money? And when we do, how are we supposed to end the whole thing so that it doesn't, we don't punch holes into what we are doing and then paint the whole church black? I don't know if you
Well,
get.
yes, yeah, I get you. But if they came when you were in first year and they came again the following year, it might be that they have not completed the building.
Okay.
So they are coming again to get more money to, But then talking about credibility is very important. Very important because it's one of the principles that govern giving. Like the Apostle Paul again, he said that providing things that are honest, not only in the sight of God, also in the sight of men. 2 Corinthians 8:21. And so we have to be honest even in the sight of men. And when people see that you are in the habit of deceiving them, you say you are doing damage to their willingness to support the work of God. When people say they have been swindled, they have been robbed literally. They lose that kind of love and that kind of zeal to support kingdom activity, and that's the damage uh, a reckless somebody can cause. And so it's very important. But in this particular example, what I'm saying is that maybe they were not done with the project, and if let's say you go out and they solicit for funds for a project, make sure that you are using it for the project. If there's a way to give progress reports, okay, we came to you for money last year. By the grace of God, we've laid the foundation with pictures. This is what we have done. We will need your help again. I mean, that's very.
So I think his issue was the fact that
They never
they
came.
had nothing
Yes,
to show for.
yes. So obviously, you see that was wrong judgment, poor judgment on somebody's part.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe they had a genuine heart, but then it's poor judgment.
Yes.
Yeah. So but they're dealing with people.
Yes.
Yeah, and then and this one too, they are outside of your church. They don't know what's going on. Maybe those in the church they know the progress, but those outside they don't know. And look at this case where last year you came to me, and this year too you have come to me, and yeah. So he has a point there. So we should be credible enough to sustain the confidence of people that contribute to the work of God.
And is it right that we go out to people like that? You go to campus and then door to door, you're asking for money. Should the church do that? Is it okay?
In the early church, they did not go to Gentiles to ask for money. But now, who are the Gentiles? That, you can't strictly demarcate, delineate the lines. So the the rule is that the people of God should support the work of God. And I don't see it as wrong if the church goes out looking for sponsorship for a program or for anything. There are people on the streets who are born again who will be willing to support. And like I said, now we can't really mark the difference. You don't know who is a Gentile. If it's not part of your church, you may be part of somebody's church. And there's nothing wrong if the person supports. So that act itself is not wrong.
Okay.
I don't think it's wrong.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So the next thing we'll look at, I call it the irony. Now, there was a young lady who shared her experience because she's also a pastor's child. And there are times where she goes to her dad, who is the pastor in question, for money. He's not able to give her. But then when a church member comes around, quickly he gives the money to the person. So the irony is church members are thinking the money is being used at home. But here's the case where the money actually is being used on the church, for the church members. So what's the balance? How do we sort these things out? Because in actual sense, the money is being used for you people, but you make it look like the pastors are, squandering the money in their homes. So, and then another question I have, this is a personal one, for the pastor's kid. What do we tell her? For the young lady who spoke, her issue is, I asked you for money. You told me there's no money, but somebody came. I mean, a church member just came right after I asked you, and then you gave the person. So, what do we tell the church kid or the pastor's kid as well?
It's quite interesting. Well, I believe that the pastor was not exactly right. Okay, is the money his money or the church's money? That's the question that we must ask. Maybe he didn't have money, the church had money. And ethically, you want to stay away from church offering for personal use. If you are on salary, that's fair. So what is due you, the church pays you. From that, you take care of your family. Or some churches have an arrangement where the church takes care of the pastor's children's school fees and all. That's also not wrong. Either of them is not wrong. But then, if you have control over the money and it's your money, the Bible says if a man cannot take care of his household, he is worse than an infidel. And so there's no point putting your family through suffering because you want to give attention to a church member. Your children too are church members. Your family too, they are all church members. But ethically, we distinguish between what is you for you personally and what's for the church. If it's your personal money, then I believe that he should have sorted out his child first. Okay. Because that's scriptural. And then also the reason why many people run into that trap is that some people think that uh, they are supposed to love the church more than their family. Jesus Christ, the church is the bride of Christ. He didn't say love my wife. He said, husbands, love your wives. He didn't say, husbands, love my wife, who is the church. Love your wives. And so you don't let your family suffer because of the work of God. That's why many pastors' children hate ministry because their father, who is a pastor, doesn't have time for them, doesn't have money for them. He has money for other people. That thing is not right. You must take care of your family, and then also that's why we must. Um, if you do the work of God, well, God will bless you. He will bless you with more than enough to have an abundance of every good work. So you will take care of your own. You have extra to take care of others. Now there are exceptional cases where there are emergencies. Emergencies, sometimes a church member runs into an emergency, and then you have money. You cannot watch on like that. That why you must sacrifice. But apart from that, I mean, there's no need to put your family through suffering just because you want to please the church.
Yes, please. All right. Thank you, sir. So this would be the last question before we put everything together. This is still Search the Scriptures podcast with Apostle Joseph Mintah. I want to believe you are being blessed because we are having a good time here. Please do like, subscribe, leave a comment, share as well. Join the family. Okay, so my question here is, who pays for church expenses? Now, the church, some way, somehow, is for the pastor. So shouldn't it be the pastor's responsibility to pay for church expenses? Because from the video, people are of the opinion that we shouldn't pay offertory. And the young lady is saying, oh, no, you should pay offertory because we buy microphones, we pay church workers, we have permanent church workers, we pay them and all that. Should that be the church's responsibility or the pastor's own responsibility? So who is supposed to fend for church expenses?
Okay, okay. But in the first place, the church is not for the pastor.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the pastor can will it to his family. If it's his property, then he can will it to his family. But the church is not for the pastor. And also, if you take the church as an organization, then it only makes sense that the organization pays for its expenses.
Okay.
Why should the pastor pay for? I know that uh, literally the reason why many people take the church as their property is that for most churches, the founders they literally put everything into the church to get it started. Some will sell their cars to get it started, to rent an auditorium, to do things. So it's like people will look onto the thing as something he has invested so much in, and so it becomes more like he has to reap his investment back. But you see, God has a way of rewarding you in other ways, not just through the church, but other many other ways. And so, if the church wants to organize a program or the church has things to do, the money that should be used to finance those things should come from the church. They come from the church. Now, if you say in that same line of argument, then we shouldn't pay taxes because the government has been elected into office, and he must go and look for money to build the roads, build the hospitals, do this, do that, do that. But they only have a mandate. It's our taxes that they use to serve us. And so you can't say we need to buy instruments that must come from the pastor, and the members will only come to church to be fed spiritually. It's even going to go against them. They will not be blessed.
Yes, sir.
So it's not true.
Yes, please. All right. Thank you so much, sir. So if you have questions, please do drop them in the comment section. We'll pick them up and sort it out. But to this point, I think we have exhausted all the questions and the controversies we gathered from the street, and it has been a blessing. Thank you so much, Apostle. God bless you. So before we leave, I would like you to please put everything in one bit. What are rather the uses of church money? I mean, generally, based on some of these things that we've discussed, what should church money be used for? And then we can call it a day.
Okay, thank you, Brad. So church money should be used to advance the cause of the kingdom
Yes, sir.
on earth here, because the church exists to advance the cause of the kingdom, and that one is pregnant. That statement is pregnant,
Yes, sir.
because the cause of the kingdom, it includes things like outreaches, it includes taking care of people, it includes taking care of men of God, women of God, it includes buying furniture. I mean, many things. Yeah, it also includes going out, crusades and all that. And so that's what church money should be used for. It's not something that should be used to advance the cosmos or the world or things of the world
Yes, please.
or secular things. It should be for the kingdom.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. Is there anything you'd like to say before we close?
Yes,
One final words.
Yes, what I wanted to say in conclusion is that um, when you are giving, give out of your heart. Always know that you are giving and your money is going to be used to advance the kingdom. Anytime you get money, you must also know that it is an opportunity for you to show your love and your loyalty to the Lord.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Right. Thank you so much, Apostle. God bless you. So anytime you give money, know that you are supporting the kingdom of God. Of course, you are going to be blessed. Thank you so much for joining us. We have episodes. We have episode 1, episode 2 of Church Money. If you've not watched it, please watch this as well. Share. We want you to be a part of the family, so please do share. We're going to meet in the subsequent episodes to discuss critical issues concerning the church. Thank you for joining us. By God's grace and mercy, I'm Shufa. We'll see you some other time. Bye for now.